अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. जय श्री Kadapai Paramahamsa Satchidananda Yogi Ishwara. So with the previous intro about Swamy, I am now going to start to share my perspectives and teachings of Swamy. With all his guidance and blessings, I'm just going to attempt this in English. Before I get into the subject directly, I wanted to set a bit of a context here. Right? So in the spiritual path, the experience is different to different people. For some, they read, some wanted to listen, and some wanted to interpret. There is no one size that fits all. So in connect to this, our Swami says, Shravana Manana Nididhyasana. So without that, one cannot progress in the spiritual path in a right manner. Reading, understanding the reading, and executing, live by those what you read and the values imparted by the Guru. Shravana Manana Nididhyasana. So the Nididhyasana is the key, if you really ask me. Otherwise, what happens is, if you just read and understand and keep it to yourself, you are just a knowledgeable person, just learned person. That's about it. And when you don't practice it, we are nothing. So it's the case that is very, very much of an importance is given to sadhana. The sadhaka who is doing the sadhana is going towards the enlightenment path set by the Guru. So that is one of the things that I always stress in all my earlier audios that I did in Tamil as well. Practice. Without practicing, just mere learning or listening to this is not going to help anybody. Alright, so let's get into the subject. This book, The Identity of Soul and God, Secret of Vedanta by Sri Paramahamsa Satchidananda Yogi Ishwara is, in my opinion, derived out of Jeeva Brahmaikya Vedanta Rakashyam in Tamil. So I would say that is a bit longer version in terms of a lot of concepts and examples covered, but this book as well has a very good compilation of that. So in a nutshell, if I have to talk about this book itself, it's like literally a collection of treasure, so to say. If you want to learn about Upanishads, what Upanishad says about the Jeeva Brahma, you can go to all the 10 Upanishads, right? Mundakya Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad, Katha Upanishad, whatever is there in the line of Upanishads, and Vedas, Shastras separately, and the Gitas. A lot of separate books are available, and one must read everything, and at the end we will arrive at one thing. So this book beautifully, collectively got the nectar, essence of all the scriptures into one book, and gives us a beautiful way of understanding what our Guru wants us to know. And also he encompasses a lot of things like a lot of current practices and why there are certain things in a certain way. So our Guruji is so kind on us. He doesn't want us to do anything blindly. So he wants us to understand the underlying reason and go behind it and do it. So that is what the essential content of this book, and also various examples given by Swamiji in the form of illustrations and form of small stories. It will keep us always interested. Right? So let us start with Namaskarams to the Parabrahman. Before, when I say Parabrahman, you might be questioning. Most of us might know what is this, but this is for the benefit of those who don't know. This is going to be a very basic. What is the difference between Paramatma and Jivatma, right? So there are two concepts in spirituality. That's like Advaita, Dvaita. is duality is Dvaita, non-duality is Advaita. Advaita was preached, practiced by Adi Shankara, and the Jiva Brahmaikyam mostly encompasses on the Advaita concept itself. So Paramatma, let's go with an example, is like a sun which shines, right? And if you keep 10 different pots of water, and what will you see under the sun? You will see a small reflection of those suns in each of the pots, right? So those can be directly correlated to Paramatma and Jivatma. So the original source sun is Paramatma, and all the reflections are Jivatma. Thus, Jivatma is nothing but a small spark, a speck of the Paramatman. So this Jivatman is prevailing in every one of us. It is nothing but a Paramatma Swarupam itself. It's just that effort that we need to put into this to understand and experience that, right? So what is needed to do that? Cessation of all the mind activity, purity of mind, control of senses, recognition of Brahman, and so on and so forth. We will definitely go into the details of each and everything in the due course. But I'm just giving you like a basic ingredient. And the final thing is self-realization is the end of wisdom, as Kripa Swamy says. It's like a flower, right? So the true meditation is to understand the Jiva Brahma Aikyam. So the Jiva from within us is traveling towards the Paramatman, which is Brahman. And the merger happens, right? The realization of the merger is nothing but the end result of one's meditation. So you may ask, like, so when all these things are being told, and what is all the gods, different gods and different things we perform and rituals and all that, right? So to answer that question, there are two things that we need to really understand: Saguna Brahman, Nirguna Brahman. So we, the human minds, definitely need something to cling on. If I suddenly, all of a sudden, wake up one day and say, hey, there is nothing, there is Jivan, you just have to realize it is all pervasive in nature. It's Sutta Chaitanya, there is nothing, it is colorless, it's a formless, you cannot see it, you cannot feel it, and that's what you need to go behind. When I say that, nobody can do that. We need something. We are conditioned in such a way that I have to hold on to something to realize something. So that is why we have all this different sort of worships and things like that. And slowly and eventually we need to traverse towards Saguna to Nirguna, which is from the form to formless. So that is what is the ultimate thing that is discussed a lot in this book. And Paramatma, as I said, has no Swarupam. It's unborn. It is the infinite, not affected by any ways or any means. And it is the one that is without a second. So that much important it is given. It has no distinctions. It is all pervasive. It's beyond all three gunas and beyond the thoughts and speeches, so to say. So you may ask at this point in time, why then there is a name Paramatma? Let's again go back to the Saguna and Nirguna. So we as a humans need something to hold on. We need some disciplined way, and thereby we have all these things to practice, right? So Paramatma resides in each of us and conducts us based on our karmas and vasanas. That is our good deeds and bad deeds from the previous janma. And also another important key thing to remember is Brahman is a subject matter of they call it as expert. It's SMEs, we call it subject matter of expert of all the Upanishads, right? So it is there sitting inside us and acts as a source of illumination to Chitta. Chitta is nothing but our mind. Mind is nothing but a non-intelligent thing, I would say. It's our many of the scriptures says that it's nothing but a collection of thoughts, right? So the Brahman, the Jivan, is kind of illuminating it, so to say, so that we can understand it well, and thereby it acts and we act. And no Vedas, no Shastras, no Upanishads can teach us all of this path of this enlightenment other than a real enlightened guru like Kadapa Swamy himself, right? And further going by it, to give more clarity, for a non-spiritual person, a God is seen as preserver, creator, and destroyer. It's like an illusion. That is Paramatman for him. For a understood spiritual souls, the God, Paramatman, is formless, pure, and intelligent. For the non-spiritual person, it is somewhere far away in the sky or cloud. For us, it is the spiritual people, it is within us. It is close by somewhere. It has to be realized. So that is what is the key difference one has to understand. And the Paramatman in general, we believe that it's seated in all our hearts as a guiding lights and still be as a spectator. So now we kind of understood what Swamy says and gives distinctions about what is Jivatman, Paramatman, and what are the different aspects of it. Now let us go into the Guru concept, right? So Guru, you all know, if you are listening to this audio, definitely you all know what Guru is. I don't have to say this again and again. But as per Swamy's explanations, I would like to share a few things here. Swamy says Gu means pure, Ru means formless. Gu is attributeless, Ru is Paramatman. Gu is Maya, Ru is destroyer. So Gu means dark, Ru is light. So you all must have guessed what exactly this means. So Guru is definitely the source that is going to liberate us to moksha, who is going to enable us to see and realize the Brahman. So the Brahman is the all-pervasive one thing that is Sutta Chaitanya, beyond all that, beyond everything. Is a Brahman, is something that we need to realize, and our Jeeva should traverse towards the Brahman. So all this can be achieved by acquirement of true wisdom. That's by meditation, right? With the purity of heart, we need to light the lamp of I or ego with the flame of mantra Soham, right? Through which the serpent of samsara will be killed. The true nature of I will be perceived as Satchidananda. So what he says by this is, one has to meditate upon and understand the true nature. You should realize that you are not what you think. I am not the body, I am not the mind. Then what I am? I am a source of pure Parabrahma. So that identity of yours needs to be understood very clearly. This is the aspect that Ramana Maharshi always says, self-inquiry, right? Who am I? Who am I? So that's the only thing that he keeps talking about, which also comes into this perspective. So, and to achieve all that and to close this chapter, I would like to close with one last but not the least, clearing the mind of all passions and keep it pure and in the intense cheer that will follow. That is what Swamy says. When the mind is at ease, the senses recoil on themselves and are stilled. So what he says essentially is Manonigraham. So Manonigraham, how can that be achieved? So as I said in the beginning, the mind is nothing but a collection of thoughts. As and when you get into this understanding of Jiva and Brahma and understanding of the true nature of I, slowly and eventually you will realize that things that we see the day in and day out are not the true things. What we are running behind is not the thing that we wanted to go behind. And we really and slowly and eventually get to the understanding of this is just fooling us. The mind, the collection of thoughts, our own thoughts are fooling us. And that understanding and clarity eventually will destroy the unnecessary thoughts. We have a lot of tips and techniques how to achieve that. We will discuss in detail going forward, but to start with, this is what it says. And Swami also says he has taught, initiated us in to a Om mantra, which is a very simple one. We should all go by that and start chanting the Om mantra, or even Swami goes on to say that if you have any of your Ishta so you just keep chanting the name of it. So all these chantings, Nama Japa, is to get you into the Egagritam. Egagritam is nothing but a focused mind, bringing the mind to the oneness still. The moment you indulge yourself into the Nama Japa, the unnecessary thoughts get settled in the mind. So the thoughts goes away, the mind settles in the heart settles in the Atman. This is the logical path Swami gives. So therefore, actually this book is intended to serve as the lamp in the tail to dispel all ignorance and clear all doubts. In this book, there is one beautiful story that has been given. I would like to close with that, as this is the first one. Pardon me for making it a bit longer. There is one village where one woman was trying to go near the well, and she saw a huge snake-like a thing. It started shouting, and many people came to close to her to save her and to kill the snake. And then eventually, a old wise lady came out with a light and came closer to it and found it eventually that is not a snake and just a rope lying there. So that is what Swami tries to say. So as we saw earlier, Guru is going to dispel the darkness and introduce the light into our paths. That is what essentially it says. We need to be very clear with the serpent and rope story. With that example, we need to be very clear, and we need to be having a clarity of thought when we see everything. It should not be mistaken to something else. So we need to clearly see with the light of the clarity of the mind is light, in my opinion here. So see the right things. Let us go forward towards the right attainment of what our Guru wants and where he wants us to go. Jai Sachidananda Sadguru Paramamsa Yogi Ishvara.